Hello, and welcome to the Making Hay podcast with your host, Marcia Miller. Marcia, so good to be with you again. How are you?
Hi, Bill. I am doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. As we tape this, we're getting into summer. Not quite there yet, up in the great Northeast, but sun's out for a lot longer and the weather's a lot warmer. Makes me a happy, happy guy.
There you go. There you go. It's already hot down south.
Oh,
Very
yeah,
hot.
I know. I look at the temperatures and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. It does get hot down that way. So, what are we talking about today?
Yeah, we thought we would have a podcast on questions to ask before you hire a financial advisor, because a lot of
Ooh,
people, they don't know, what to do in that capacity. They don't know how to figure out who they should be working with. So we thought we would
right.
just give you a little checklist, so to speak.
That's true. That's true. And I find a lot of people who don't want to meet with a financial advisor because they're afraid if they meet with a financial advisor, they have to go with that financial advisor. So, hopefully,
Exactly.
you can clear up some of the myths and misgivings that maybe people have today.
Very, very good point. We want you to have a choice when you're looking for the financial advisor, one that clicks with you.
So, who we got on the program?
Yeah, so we got Matt here, my sidekick in the office, day in and day out. We're doing this grind together. So glad to have you, Matt, with me today.
Yeah, glad to be back on.
Yeah, I got a surprise for you, Matt.
What's that?
I did something. I made a commitment on Friday, and I haven't told you yet.
Okay, what did you do?
Well, as you know, I've been for the last, I guess, year and a half, since the beginning of last year, working on my health
Right.
and becoming stronger, getting a lot of exercise in on a weekly basis. Fell in love with Pilates again. And so I went for a annual checkup, and my doctor suggested that it's really important as we age to start lifting weights. And so I decided to hire a personal trainer.
Excellent.
Yeah, so I'm putting it out there for the world to hear so that I can honor my commitment.
Yeah, of course. And I think that's perfect kind of explanation and what we're wanting to talk about today. It's important to find someone that kind of suits your goals and needs with any relationship you have, whether it's a dentist or a personal trainer or like an accountant.
Exactly. Exactly. And as I was preparing for this episode today, because we'd already talked about, as Bill and I were just talking, how it's a little intimidating to think about, working with a financial advisor, like going in and bearing your soul, your financial soul. It's very personal, very
Right.
emotional. And so we just thought, hey, if we give you a preview of what you should be looking for in an advisor, you don't have to, you can talk to several advisors before you make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And just like me seeking out who I was going to work with to help me get better in health and to get stronger and so forth, you've got to find that person that you can trust and that can personalize the approach, and really you just walk away feeling like that person gets me.
Right.
And that's what I felt with this new trainer I hired. And I think he really sees what I'm trying to accomplish here. And I think it's such a parallel when we talk about working with an advisor.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very important.
Yeah. Well, one thing we'll jump in. One thing is, like, if you get in an airplane, would you want your pilot this to be his first flight or the first time he's flown the route before? I mean, probably not. So I think the first thing on our list of looking for an advisor is it's important to know about their education and experience.
Yeah, and it's completely appropriate to just ask the advisor that you're meeting with about their education and background, and what you're really looking for here is someone that has experience in dealing with individuals with your kind of unique situation.
Absolutely. It's important to know, just like the pilot, is it the first flight? Is this the first time you've worked with a person that's trying to get them in the transition from saving money to transitioning into retirement and living off of their nest egg? Or have you helped someone through the sale of a business? Have you created tax efficient, distribution planning for that
Mm-hmm.
person? So, experience and education are two things that are super duper important. And don't be afraid to ask, tell me about yourself. Because trust me, financial advisors love to talk, don't they, Matt?
Yes, we do.
And so I'm sure they'll tell you. So that's the number one thing on our checklist. The second thing would be you want to know what services they offer. For sure.
Yeah, of course. And many advisors offer many different services, and this just kind of goes back that you go into this meeting and you have a question about something specific, or you need help with something specific, and whether that be retirement planning, tax planning, estate planning, managing investments, your 401k plan, just knowing what you're going into the meeting trying to solve, and hopefully you're trying to kind of match that up with an advisor that has that specialty.
Absolutely. I made sure off the bat that my new trainer did not put me into any kind of routine to train for powerlifting, because that is not what I'm looking for.
Right, exactly.
So you want to make sure your financial advisor gets you and knows what you're looking for and can tailor a plan specific to your needs. We've talked a lot about planning in the past, but just making sure they offer all the services that you're looking for. Definitely.
Yeah, of course.
The next big question is you've got to ask how the advisor's compensated. That's a big one. Got to understand that.
It is. I think meeting with new clients, one question that we always ask is, if you are working with an advisor, what are you paying, or how is the advisor being compensated? And one of the worst answers we get is, I don't know.
And that's pretty often we get that.
Yes, it's very often.
Yes.
And I think that has to do with the complexities of how our industry is structured on fees. And so there are 3 different fee structures. One is the fee only. So it's typically you are paying an advisor a percentage on assets under management. So if you have an investment account that has money in it, and you work with a fee only advisor, they're likely either charging a percentage of the assets under management, or they'll charge you an hourly rate to work on your plan or tax planning or whatever needs you have. The second one is commission based. So this advisor gets paid based on buying and selling financial instruments, and then the last one is fee based, which is kind of a blend between the fee only and commission based. They'll get a fee, but also may earn commissions on the sale of certain products.
Excellent. It is just so confusing. If I wasn't in this industry and listening to this, I might be like, say what the heck, say that again.
Right.
Fee based and, fee only. That's so confusing. So, don't hesitate to ask questions when you're talking to a financial advisor. Get clarity. I always like to tell people there's no question that you shouldn't ask. If you're unclear on anything, ask us to repeat it. Ask us to say it another way, and just make sure you have understanding. I want to know how much I pay for any service I receive, and
Absolutely.
I want my clients to know that as well.
Yeah.
So that is very, very important.
Yeah. I've got a friend that has been working with an advisor for about 25 years, and the guy's about to retire, and I asked him the same question, and he's like, yeah, I have no idea what I'm paying. I've been working with this guy for 25 years, and I'm a little embarrassed that I don't know, and even more embarrassed to even ask him.
That is such a good point, Matt. Embarrassment, anxiety, these are things that people feel when they think about the financial advisor. And a lot of times a 25-year relationship, that's kind of sad, that person doesn't know what they're paying. But it's also just speaks to maybe they have a great relationship. And so this feels awkward to ask you,
right.
And I believe in transparency. So we should definitely be able to communicate that to our clients and our clients to us, for sure.
Right.
So the next thing on our checklist is you would want to ask a potential financial advisor that you would want to work with what their approach is. What's their investment philosophy? How do they approach risk and diversification?
Yeah, of course. This is something that I don't think really is discussed a lot. There's no one size fits all plan, and so again, going back to understanding your goals and needs kind of helps answer all these questions. So there's basically 2 paths of investment philosophy. One is passive, and so that is just you're buying stocks and bonds, and you're just holding them, and we're not trading them, and we've got a long time horizon. And I think most of our clients and people that we work with are growth focused and with a long time horizon, and they kind of fall into this bucket. And then there is the other side of it is active management, and this is really specific to people that have a specific goal in mind.
Absolutely. One thing there, looking at those two paths, you want to make sure that the advisor is conscientious of fees inside of the holdings themselves. So, that's something that you would want to ask about when you're going under compensation, or what are my costs here? Not only the cost of what you're paying the advisor, but also the cost of the assets inside of the portfolio.
Yes, that's a really good point.
Yeah. So, and it's just really important for alignment with those different approaches. Make sure that it aligns with your risk tolerance and ultimately your financial goals. Those are the key things. And a good financial plan will make sure all those things are aligned. The next thing, I love talking about this because sometimes this is a little bit challenging, is talking about like how often do we meet? Because we have clients all across the country, and a lot of times people think that, okay, I'm a veterinarian that lives in, Los Angeles, and we're on a different time zone. How are we going to meet? But really, what is the frequency, and how often do we need to meet? How do you address that with a financial advisor?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think there's no one size fits all plan. So somebody that is just coming in for retirement planning and income planning, typically about twice a year. So there'll be review meetings that just update income and needs and goals, and then also review performance. But somebody that is doing some tax planning and estate planning and maybe the sale of a business, probably going to meet more frequently than that. Maybe once a quarter. And then if we get a little bit closer to the sale of a business, maybe even more frequent than that. But yeah, again, it's just specific to the needs and the goals of whoever the client is.
Absolutely. I know we've got some clients right now that are doing some big Roth conversions, just doing some preparation in advance of turning on their required distributions. And we have to meet with them pretty frequently to get that handled. That would fall under the tax planning you mentioned, for sure. But what about if they have like an urgent question, or they want to pull $50,000 to $100,000 out of their portfolio to buy a car?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I think those are kind of specific, like one-offs. So we're always available for a phone call or emails or any kind of questions like that. So we're not limited to just I can only speak to this advisor twice a year. We're available for anything specific to your financial situation. You should always be able to reach out to whatever advisor or whoever you're using. And they should really just be your financial partner for anything related to decision making that can better off your situation.
Exactly. You can't push off your every question until it's time for your annual checkup or whatever. So you gotta have some way that you can contact them. So make sure you ask that when interviewing financial advisors. So the next thing that's on our list is, and actually the final thing we're going to talk about today, is what is expected of me if I become a client. So if you are the client, you have some obligations too.
Right. So. Yeah, I think this is my favorite question that we've gone over. Just because it is a two-way street, it is a two-way relationship. It's important. The more information that you can provide us or your financial advisor, the more that we can help with. I think something that's really frustrating from our end is we have some clients that are just, hey, I don't want to think about this. Like, as long as my income's coming in every month, like I trust you guys, just whatever. But I mean, we're looking at your situation on a frequent basis, and there's times where we need to make a recommendation and change. And it's for somebody like that, it's really hard to get in contact with them. And so The communication channel needs to be two-way. So we can call you and make recommendations as needed. And we need to, I don't know, be able to discuss new ideas as well.
Absolutely. And, part of it is providing us with personal documentation, like your tax returns and, even legal documents like your power of attorneys and, what's going to happen if you can't make a decision, those kind of conversations, and following back up. In our office, we're going to pester you until we get those things.
Yes.
Because we know how busy people are. It's not because you don't want to share it necessarily, when you're in a trusted relationship, but those things are important for sure. Another funny thing here is you do have to be like fully transparent. For us to serve as financial advisors, to serve clients well, you have to be open and honest. And just, I've been in business a long time, so I've had situations where later on people would say, oh, well, I forgot about this account. Well, I'm pretty sure they didn't forget about it. A lot of times it's money that's in savings and stuff. But I've literally had people tell me, like, well, I just kind of keeping that for a rainy day. And, we're happy if you have a big rainy day fund, or if there's a reason for a big purchase or something like that. But that transparency, like you said, it's a two-way street, really helps us, because then we can make sure we're making proper recommendations.
Yeah, absolutely.
By knowing that you have another 200,000 sitting over here that you didn't want to mention. And, it's your money. You can spend it.
Yes.
And, so we just want to make sure you're being honest with us in every way, or transparent with us in every way.
It's very important.
Yeah. Well, so just like I kind of put myself out there with my new health goals I have here set for myself for the remainder of this year, I have to commit to these workouts. If my trainer just makes the workouts and I don't do it, if I don't keep my diet on point, right, then it's not going to work. I can have ice cream occasionally, but if I'm having ice cream every night, I don't care how hard I'm working out, my plan isn't going to work.
Right. Your trainer's not going to like that.
My trainer is not going to like it. He's going to probably fire me. So, I'm motivated about it. And, it's the same thing financially. If you want to be motivated and have the best future you can have, get involved with a financial advisor. Find one that, like I said in the beginning, gets you, that they understand you. They see the goals that you're trying to accomplish, and they want to help you get there, because it's really rewarding for a financial advisor to help someone accomplish their goals. It's so satisfying. I love what we do. I'm so happy to be a financial advisor. I tell Matt all the time, we have the best career that exists, because we help people and help them fulfill their dreams, and it makes us incredibly happy.
Absolutely. Best part of the job.
It is. So, Matt, would you just summarize the key questions and why they're essential?
Of course. And so just to do a quick recap, so questions that we need to ask before hiring a financial advisor. We touched on education and experience. So we're looking for a good fit specific to our background, and understanding that advisor has worked with individuals that are in similar places. Understanding services offered. So like Marcia said, with her trainer, if you're looking to get stronger, you're probably not going to work with a trainer that's helps people run marathons. And then understanding how we are compensated. This is a big thing, and it can be very confusing. So make sure that you don't leave the meeting with any questions or confusion or whatever. So any questions that you have, feel free to ask. And just, we want to make sure that you understand how we're compensated. And then next, we have the investment philosophy, passive between active, and then how often do we meet, and what is expected of me when I become a client. And all of this is designed for you going into the meeting, understanding that you have a specific goal in mind, and you're looking for somebody that can help you solve it.
Absolutely. And we're just trying to make sure that we can ease your nerves around, finance and around money, and that you go in just feeling confident. It should be a conversation. It should be an easy conversation with someone, or maybe they're not the right person for you. So we just encourage you to find a good match, find a successful financial partner that you can work with, and, get all those goals achieved, and make sure that you're living life to the fullest, and and you're understanding what's going on in your financial life and getting control of it. So we encourage you to seek out a financial advisor.
That's great, Marcia. It's I think a lot of people think they're going to be obligated if they meet with somebody. It's like, and I'm like, no, you can go in and sit down with somebody and you can walk out and never go back in the office again, because it's
Absolutely.
important that you have the kind of relationship that you're talking with, right? You said somebody that gets you, but you need to feel comfortable with them. And if you don't, there's nothing wrong, right, with saying thank you for your time, and I'll be in touch, or I'll get back to you, and walking out, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a unique and different kind of relationship, and it's okay. Look, they're friendly people like Matt and Marcia right there, ready to help you
That's
out.
right.
Yes,
Really and
absolutely. Give
truly,
us
I
a
enjoy
call.
visiting with y'all all the time, and I can vouch for the fact that you make things comfortable for folks. So there's certainly nothing wrong with having a conversation, and there might be something really good for you to have that conversation. Speaking of which, Marcia, if they want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Yes, absolutely. Our office phone number is 205-795-2013. A really easy way to find me online is meetwithmarcia.com, and Marcia is Marcia. So meetwithmarcia.com, and that will bring you up to our website and our contact information and emails and so forth. We would love to reach help anyone that needs some help.
Yeah, no, that is fantastic. And before I forget, congratulations. Glad you made the step, hired a personal trainer. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
that's going to be a fun and interesting path for you here.
I know.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's been about a decade since I've had this kind of help, so it's going to be interesting.
Yes.
I know, but that's good. It's going to be interesting. Keeps things interesting, as a matter of fact. And that's great. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Folks, if you are not a subscriber to this podcast, you could do yourself a big favor and just reach out and hit the follow button. It's that simple. That way, when Marcia drops a new episode of her podcast, you will be notified and you can listen to it. I would also ask that if you like the podcast, if you find it interesting, useful, amusing, tell people about it. Word of mouth is a very welcome tool of promotion. Thanks so much for listening. For everybody, I want to thank you for taking the time today. I'm Bill Tucker. Thanks for listening. And remember, you can go out today and make today a good day, or you not. It's a choice. You can make it. Thank you so much. Until next time.